welcome back to another podcast.
Another one.
My name is Aaron.
My name is AJ.
We just want to welcome y'all back to the Tribe Talk podcast with Aaron and AJ and our manager production of the arts,
our producer.
Is that my title?
I guess so, yeah.
Great.
If you have not already, please like and subscribe to our channel.
You already know what it
we
is.
have good content coming your way. We're on
Yep.
YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, anywhere you can get your podcast information. Make sure you check us out, like our content, share it so somebody else can be blessed by the good stuff that's coming from this podcast. Now, in breaking news. The Queen is dead.
The Queen.
The Queen is dead.
Queen Elizabeth. Oh, is it Elizabeth?
Yeah. Elizabeth the what?
Yeah, so is it King George?
No, not the
Queen
first.
George.
The King George.
I think she's like Elizabeth II.
Elizabeth
I
the
thought she was
second.
third.
You know,
know.
she actually became queen when she was like 25.
For real?
Yeah, she-
No, I
Yeah,
thought-
that's
I thought
like
it was
2 years.
13.
Huh?
Now maybe I'm thinking about the Bible
No.
days. You guys maybe I'm thinking about King Tut. I think King Tut was king.
Yeah,
when he was
she became queen when she was 25.
Pharaoh,
But not too long ago. When was this?
Thursday.
This happened Thursday. Today is Saturday that we're recording. So Thursday, she put on her robe and she's now telling the story how she made it over. She
She's the second,
has
by the
left.
way.
Oh, she's the second.
She's the
Okay.
second.
Yeah, the
She has left this world and we're
She
still
has
in.
transitioned on from her
Right.
earthly home and now is up amongst the ancestors.
She has a crown on her head. Hopefully, she has a crown on her head, and she is with the heavenly angels singing
eating
glory.
scones with the Father.
Right.
Well,
Well, maybe. I don't know.
Right, maybe.
So there's some
But, yeah.
controversy over whether
Exactly. Mel,
black
break
and
that.
brown people should care about her death at all or not. Because I'm not on Black Twitter, but I guess that's been going crazy this past weekend. Because I guess, she was over the monarchy when they were still like colonizing other countries, like
Yeesh.
going in and pretty much taking over. And so a lot of people like, well, I don't care if she died, she's wretched basically. And then you have a lot of other people like, oh no, we're going to revere the Queen, even though I'm not from Britain.
Right.
I'm still going to watch that funeral.
Me too.
I'm
Let me
going
tell
to
you,
tune in.
can you or Mel tell me the only thing that I'm looking forward to in this whole funeral?
The clergy.
Garments?
Bingo.
Oh, is that what it
Bingo.
is? The priestly-
The priestly garments
The
that
priestly
those Catholic
garments.
priests be wearing.
He can break it down too.
Let me tell y'all something. When I see those jokers walking in those garments and they have like everything is just neat in place. It's just
Whoever irons their stuff.
I'm trying to tell you, it's just, whichever cleaners they take this stuff to, it's impeccable.
The royal
because
cleaners.
It's the royal cleaners, and I promise
the
you,
royal
one of these old
cleaners.
days, I want to go to Buckingham Palace or wherever those priests stay and get them to sew me some threads of the finest materials
the
that they
finest
have.
cloths.
But
Wow.
no, on a serious note, what was I going to say? On a serious note, I had to regain my thoughts. On a serious note, I'm not too fond upon, well, not fond, but I'm not too well versed on what the Queen has done and all of what she's accomplished or whatever.
No disrespect, but I forgot she was a person. I literally did.
But no, I will say, I absolutely admire the level of class that the Queen has, even
and
when
the
she
longevity which
talks.
she
the
held
longevity,
it. Yeah.
the properness of how she speaks, the way that she conducts herself, everything is just so like she doesn't miss a beat. And like the way that she talks to her grandchildren, like it's just like, what's her grandson Harry?
Harry.
Why art thou running so fast? He like, why art thou? but I was watching a video of her talking to, who was she talking to? It was one of the gardeners or whatever, or somebody that she was taking on in the around the Buckingham Palace, and she found out I don't know if it was some type of tree or some type of garden ornament. And she found out it was planted in the shade, and I guess it was some type of plant that's supposed to be planted in the sunlight to get sunlight. And she walked through. She was like, "Was this always there?" She was like, "We need to move this because it's not getting in the sun." But it's just the way she said it. It was just, if that was me, I'd be like, "Yes, my lord." if that was me, I would have moved so quick for her. It's just the way that she said it. But
The way she conducted herself.
the way she just talks and the way that she conducts herself, it make you want to serve her.
Let me ask y'all this. Is that picture of an old lady climbing on the gate, is that real? Or is that her?
No, that's not
Okay.
real.
I haven't seen
Okay.
it.
She would
I always
never do that.
I always see it, and
No.
every time I see it, it's hilarious.
No, it's
If
not
you
real.
look, it's an old lady in like a pink or purple like overcoat or sweater, And
Oh, that's not.
Not real. No.
You gotta link
You
it.
gotta
Put the
link that
picture in
shit.
there. But
I'm gonna put a picture right here. That is not.
I've been seeing so many memes saying that's how she's gonna be when she's at the pearly gates, and you got Diana on the other side, and she's screaming, "Diana, let me in, let me in."
Now, do you know why they're saying that?
No. Oh, so let's
you
get into
don't
this.
know.
Let's get into this.
Let's
Yeah.
get some of the tea. I know a little bit. Okay, so we know that Princess Diana was married to the Queen's son, Charles, who is going to be king now. He's like 76.
So the guy
years
who's
old.
going to be king now is
that's Prince Charles. He's about to be king Charles now.
Princess Diana, the one who died tragically at a young age.
Harry and William's
William's mom. Okay, gotcha.
So she died in a car crash, but she was married to Prince Charles. They actually got a divorce because he nasty and he was cheating on her.
Allegedly.
No.
Allegedly.
We know he was cheating on her with someone he wanted to marry or like before Diana, but I guess the monarchy didn't approve of her because she just didn't fit the mold. I think she was like linked to other guys and stuff like that, and they wanted somebody kind of clean, spotless, without blemish.
Is that the videos where we looked up some tapes where they was talking about filling cups?
So let me tell you, I'm about to get there. So her name is Camilla, and so I think he went off to the army or whatever because they didn't. Like I said, the family didn't want him to marry her, and so when he went off to the war, she got married to somebody else, and he came back and he got married to Diana, but he still loved Camilla. He was just trying to act like, oh, that's just my friend. Oh,
That's a
friend where?
But why would you do that?
Because you nasty.
Because he like hoes, and he said hoes know what to do and when to do.
I'm telling you. And so of course he was pretty much probably cheating on Diana the whole time. But I think Diana and Charles got some kind of a separation. They weren't divorced yet, but Camilla was still married. And then the Camilla Gate happened. I just found that out. It's like tapes of them talking very.
But you gotta say what they were saying.
So what's going on here?
So it was like Charles was like because
the Duchess of Cornwall. Wait, Camilla is the Duchess of Cornwall.
Now I guess because they eventually did get married. Charles.
Oh, they got married.
So it's like all of that, and y'all could just let them.
Are they married now?
Yeah, they're married now.
Oh.
She's the queen consort.
I don't know this stuff.
She's about to be the queen consort. She ended up marrying him anyway. But okay. So it was just like back in the 80s or whenever, or the 90s, early 90s, and so the recording I heard, it was like, so this is Charles. Oh, Camilla, you just fill up my tank. And I fill up your tank. She's like, oh, Charles, you do. Yes, you do.
I like rusty spoons.
Rusty spoons.
Talking like they're Shakespearean.
Oh, well, now come down my chimney like
Santa
Claus.
Come down my chimney.
So they were just tapes, and they were both still married.
Yikes.
So it was pretty much confirmed that they were cheating,
Yikes.
All that stuff.
Wait, he said, do I fill your cup? Do I fill your tank?
Oh, Charles.
Yeah, you did.
He said, more abundantly.
There was never a time that you did. It is surely now.
So that's
Yikes.
just nasty.
So,
but what about now? So, the queen is dead.
The queen is gone.
And so I guess he's taken over as king.
Yeah.
King Charles.
I was listening. Was it this morning? Yeah, this morning I was listening to him do his official. I don't know. They haven't done his coronation yet, but I was listening to.
They can't do that till after they put it in the ground,
right?
Yeah.
But I was listening to him do his initial speech declaring him as king or whatever, and I was just looking at him. I was just like, I don't know. I just don't. I don't know what kind of rule he will be. I don't know if he has his duckies in a row. Now, mind you, now you can take my opinion with a grain of salt because I absolutely know nothing about this royal family. The only thing I do know is when I watched her sons get married, and I only watched that because I like to see the clergy walk down the aisle. So that's the only reason why I watched that.
A clergy hoe.
That's the only reason why I watched that. And then, but that's as far as how the queen conducted herself, which I explained earlier so graciously. But I was looking at her son talk, and I was just like, I don't know. He got a foul spirit. I just don't like the way he could just kind of conduct. I will say that joker be having some nice. I was telling you earlier, he be having some nice suits. His custom suit, whichever Buckingham seamstress he get, I wonder how. I bet you
whatever that shop.
I bet you it's like per suit is probably like
and 2 G's.
But it got to be. It got to be 2 racks. It got to be. But
probably more than that. They royal.
Yeah,
they,
know?
so
Yeah,
everything
custom.
is custom. I even saw a video. I actually followed the they got an Instagram page.
They probably got Rumpelstiltskin back there sewing putting the threads together.
The people that actually make their shoes. I follow them on Instagram.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pictures of him and his dad buying shoes and all. You know the dad Charles, old man. What's their last name?
Not Windsor.
Windsor, ain't it? Well, the daddy of Charles. I'm just calling him Old Man Charles.
Old Man Charles.
Him and son Charles. They were at
isn't it?
Vontabon.
Oh, I'm about to
Who
look
was
it up.
that?
Hold on, watch.
But yeah, they was inside the shoe store buying the shoes. So
Okay.
in all, they have some nice stuff and overall. But on top of all the news, the Queen is gone. Queen Elizabeth
Queen is gone.
is gone, resting in the bosom of the Lord.
Yeah, Montalban, Windsor.
Montalban.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this, because I literally just saw. I think you probably heard. I saw a preacher talk about the shift that's going to happen in the world dealing with, like, if it's politics, religion, because she was, if I'm not wrong, she was the longest standing ruler of a country for like 70 years.
Right.
70-something
Yeah,
years.
70-something years. Yeah. What do you all think? Like, how do you think
As
that's
far
going
as
to
the
affect? Yeah, as far
I
as politics, of
Yeah.
course, because but even in religion,
And I didn't know that she owned Canada either.
she owned
Oh,
what?
yeah, Canada.
She
They're
owns
British.
Canada. She
Yeah.
owned Canada. I did not.
Are
know
you
that.
serious?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
So Canada is a country under Britain.
Yeah. She owned that land.
Wow.
That's why. That's what a source told me.
Whoa.
And I did. So, anyways, to answer your question,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it takes a genius to realize when you have somebody of that stature to die, that somebody has served so long, changes are going to take place because you got some people that have lived and died under her administration. You have generations that were born under her administration. So of course a change is going to take place.
Yeah.
As it pertains to religion, I don't know. Cause I know ain't gonna change my religion.
I
I
know.
got that good religion.
I know. Me and Mel was talking. It's crazy because most of the monarchy, the royal families, even from Britain and other countries, they're some kind of way, even if it's down the line a little bit, they're related or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that like how is that?
Wait,
like
who
You
related?
said who's related?
some of the monarchy or royal
yeah.
families from other countries.
From Germany,
yeah.
like they're all kind of they marry each other. Like they marry their
Oh,
kids
so
off too.
marry-
So,
so
if I have
it's
a
like a
daughter from the
connection.
queen, I have a daughter. She can marry the German
something, yeah,
prince or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
German
they're all
Dutch.
kind of in.
I would do that too. I mean, as long as she cute, bring her here. Shoot. I marry me a queen. I mean, marry me a princess. Shoot.
You got to go over there first.
I marry a queen.
Oh
But yeah,
man,
keep it in the family. Pretty
I
much,
guess so.
'cause-
Yeah. So, y'all think Harry's going to be a good king?
Harry,
Oh,
Charles.
Charles.
I don't know. Like I said,
But speaking of Harry, I wonder, is his father? Now I heard this on the news. Well, I heard on Facebook. It was like a little journalist that was talking and was like, the father. I was like, if Charles do this, Charles deserve a beat down and a half because they said that Charles. What she said was that Charles was speaking of only supporting the lineage of the royal, like whoever is next in line for the crown, only supporting
will
them,
be
like,
William.
which would be William, his son, so forth and so on, but only giving them the royal support of whatever. I don't know if they have taxes over there or shekels or whatever they got over there, but only
wait. Did you just say shekels?
shekels or what is it?
No, isn't it pounds?
Pounds.
Yeah.
But is it some source of money called like shekels?
Shekels.
Shekels.
But I don't think. I think it's like back in the day.
Right, that
like,
was back in the Bible days.
18, yes.
No. How do you?
Shillings.
Shillings? I've heard.
Shillings.
But I heard something like shekels.
How do you
I've
spell
heard
that?
shekels.
How do you spell that?
SHE. I think there's a K in there.
Yeah,
I don't think
shekels.
it's CK. I think it's like KEL or something. Look that up. I know shillings.
I know I heard.
Oh, a
shekels.
shekel. Okay.
Yeah, it is a thing.
Yeah. Hold on. Where does that come from? Israeli new shekel.
Oh,
What is it? But what
maybe
year
it's
was it in?
shillings.
I'm assuming it's still used today.
Oh. But yeah, I knew I was something about shekels. But anyways,
Shekel.
what was I saying?
I don't.
Oh, but I heard that he was supposed to be
Oh yeah.
cutting off anybody that's not in the direct line of the crown.
Really?
Not to cut you off, but you heard shekels because it's in the Bible.
Yeah,
It's a New Testament in the Bible.
See?
Oh.
Well.
But you said you heard what
he's
now?
supposed to be cutting off anybody that's not in a direct line of like.
But isn't Harry already
I think they
cut
already
off?
took themselves out of that.
Yeah,
themselves.
he's because aren't they living in California?
Yeah, but he
so
has
they
his mother's
denounced,
like he has his mother's.
they
money.
renounced the throne.
His mama had some money.
Oh yeah, she put money up for him and
Diana,
my girl
and-
Diana.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She ought to have some money.
Yeah.
You know why I love Diana so much? She had a permanent suite that's named after her inside of the Grand Floridian at Disney World.
I knew it was coming back to that.
All roads lead back to it. So rest in peace,
Do
Diana.
they?
Rest in peace, Diana.
Look,
This is hilarious.
Right? Rest in peace, Diana. Get up. Rest in peace.
Anything else
I'm
going
done
on
with
with
that.
the Queen?
You got
I
any more
got
to say?
nothing else.
We
I
just
just
want to let y'all know Quang is gone.
Yeah, it's the hot topic and
Hot topic.
oh, so well, I don't think we dove deep into it. So, what do y'all think about how black people should feel about?
I honestly don't know.
I feel like you can feel how you want.
You can feel how you want.
I don't know all the facts about
Me neither.
who what countries were
Right.
colonized.
I mean,
all
I've
that's
heard
happened,
I've
you know?
heard different things like they're very racist towards.
And here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just upon how so we know our family is kind of in the limelight. You know, Thorogood family kind of in the limelight. And cricket stuff, well, I'm not gonna say cricket, but how things were handled when certain things transpired just in our family. So just imagine on that level of royalty,
Yeah.
How many wells?
how many things,
ditches
how
have been
stuff was
dug.
handled. Because Harry and them ain't just gonna leave for no reason.
Bingo. And I think even in the interview that Oprah did with them, which is a great interview, by the way, I got to go back and watch that because there's some good stuff that they were saying. You can tell there was some stuff that they really wanted to say.
Family,
Exactly.
They kinda mellow out, but it's something how, and this just goes how people do. We've experienced it. How people can throw rocks and then hide their hands. They can do damage and do dirt and do things,
Sometimes
but then hide their hands.
be your own people.
And it be.
Right? It'll be your own people.
Your own people. But,
Exactly.
But just imagine it. I can only imagine the different things that was done, different things that was said, different vibes that Megan felt, different things that, even if they walked past her and
Yeah.
cut her
Oh
out of
yeah.
something,
You know they
I
did
can
that.
only imagine.
You think about it, she's black, and think of how they treated Diana, who was white.
Bingo.
You know they were probably doing
I'm
some stuff.
saying.
Somebody was saying something.
Yeah,
somebody
they,
was saying
yeah, they
something,
had. They had
and
to
she
get.
was already.
And
very,
I applaud Harry.
Oh yeah, you stick
I
up for your
applaud
woman.
Harry.
That's right.
When you get married, you leave your parents and cleave to your wife, and he did that and more.
Yup.
He even
You
said,
stuck
he
up.
said, I saw what happened to my mom. I'm not going to let that happen to my wife.
Harry,
Bingo.
you're a good man. You're a good man.
You got a woman like Megan, because Megan beautiful, man. She is beautiful. You gotta, say something I don't like. Say something I don't like. God dare you.
I expose you on Facebook.
But rest in
But
peace.
there you go. Rest in peace, Queen.
Elizabeth II.
Yeah, look, wherever you may be.
Wherever you may be. But
All
rest in
right.
peace. May the family grieve in the Lord.
Yeah.
That.
I think I'll watch the funeral.
I'm
Well, I'm
watch
watching
it.
that.
Yeah,
funeral.
I
I
watched
watch
the
all that
funeral.
stuff. Just as I got to
We
be
did watch
there.
the wedding. We watched the replay of it because it was
Yeah.
too early in the morning.
Charnel was on up watching that.
Yeah. Y'all think it's gonna be anywhere near Aretha's funeral? Like as far as
Man,
long.
you
longevity?
remember watching that? We were here watching
Yes.
it. It was
All
we
day.
had breakfast. We ordered lunch.
Yup.
Like it was
All
a
day.
long
Yeah,
thing.
get ready for
Number one
dinner.
thing about them people, they believe in doing a ceremonial, doing the
Yeah.
final obstacle.
But that's what I'm saying. They gotta walk down all them paths. All the people gotta
But they
come
gonna get there.
in.
They gonna get there fluently.
All the
though.
robes. They gotta. They'll have the what do you call the guy who's up?
Procession?
No, well, not the procession.
Eulogy?
No. The guy who announces everyone coming in. The what do you call it?
MC?
Not the master orator.
Master of ceremony.
Not the master of ceremony. It's somebody else. Especially in the Kojic world, we like to do this. Say, for example, we're doing a processional, and then you have the elder. I'm not going to say his name, but you'll have him announcing everyone as they're proceeding down.
Yeah,
no, there's a name for that. It's not the MC, because the MC is the person that orchestrates the service as it's going on. This is just the person that's announcing everyone as they're coming in.
The most time in the Kojic world, it's called the scribe that does
The scribe, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, the
so
scribe.
imagine the scribe having
Now coming in, her royal, like that dumb Dwight off
Right,
the office.
exactly.
Your Royal Highness Jim Halpert.
and PP Halpert.
Right. But I believe
it should be an interesting.
I believe it's going to go
and the coronation. They should have that. not
Soon.
necessarily back to back, but they don't waste time leaving people in what's the word? No, not limbo, but
freezer?
interim.
Oh.
They don't have them in interim for too long. They're gonna get it done. They already know who up. He already making his presence known. They're gonna get him in.
But I think this is gonna be a glorious funeral,
Yeah.
and to God be the glory.
To God be
for
the
great
glory.
things He has done through the life and legacy of Her
Queen
Royal Highness
Elizabeth
Queen
II.
Elizabeth II. On to better news, though. Now, that was just a preliminary hearing for you all. On to some delicious stuff. So, today, AJ, what the devil we talking about today?
It was kind of a lot, but I think we should talk about something that we can all relate to. We're all young, fairly. Me and Mel, we're in our 30s. I won't go there. I just said you're in your 30s. All right. We're still young. Actually, you know what's scary? I don't know if y'all can see it, but I found one strand of gray hair in my beard, and it's somewhere. I don't know where it is over here. I almost screamed because I'm 30. I don't know if y'all can see it, but I found one gray hair, and this is the first gray hair I ever had. I'm a fresh 30.
First gray hair I had.
It is always going to be like this?
Yes, I hope your whole beard is gray by 35.
I don't want. I think I still look sexy I still got a full beard, so I mean that ain't gonna hurt nothing. I'll still be sexy.
Hey, you know who gonna look like?
Who?
Come on.
No.
You gotta stop. Stop.
Oh my!
Heck no. Heck no. But we're all getting older. We're getting older, but we're still young. And this being young in this westernized America is hard. Right. And I'll tell you why. Because we are some of the most, I don't want to say toxic, but our culture in this America is so much different than how it used to be when, say, for example, our parents were growing up. There's a lot of changes that are happening just in our generation. Right. Whatever generation XYZ, ABC, 1, 2, 3, whatever you want to call yourself, the generations that are surrounding where we are, the culture is so much different. You know what I'm saying? Right. Where do y'all want to start from there? Like, how do y'all feel?
I mean, yeah, I definitely feel that even as it pertains to finding love. I don't want to get too far on that.
we know.
But I would say finding love. Just trying to
invent yourself.
I will say,
it
is easier to make a living now than it was for.
I will say that.
Old.
I will say that
because, and I will say, our generation now is. I'm not gonna say more creative.
It's almost like you can monetize anything, and it's not that we're more creative. I just think that technology has a lot to do with it. The advances of technology.
Like for instance, if you if you want to be famous, you no longer have to go to Hollywood to be famous.
Exactly.
You can sit at your home,
have a computer,
have a camera,
and become famous.
Off of.
You know how many people we've seen do that? Whether it be singers, musicians, comedians. Think about all the people that are famous, like DC Young Fly, or we were just talking about our Halle Bailey and her sister, Bailey and their sisters. I remember watching these people on YouTube when they had just like a couple tens or hundreds of views, and they're all famous. You can literally become famous just sitting and doing something at your computer. You don't, like you said, you don't have to travel to Hollywood, California, New York, whatever, just become famous. You don't have to
do that now.
Yeah, we have an advantage that generations before us did not have.
Right.
I agree.
Yeah. So it's just mainly the main thing is being authentic in who you are, and because I believe that this generation is very, very gifted, and with that. It can either go two ways. Being very gifted, you can either use your gift to do something that's just out of this world and amazing, or you can have your gift and do nothing with your gift because you're scared of the possibility of failing with your gift. You know what I'm saying? So with all of that, I feel like at this age, and another thing, so many people are content creators,
doing
podcasting, are launching their makeup business or whatever it is. So many people are doing it that to those that have the gift to do it, and not saying that the people that are doing it don't have the gift, but to those that desire to do it but haven't launched out and doing it, it could become intimidating because so many people are doing it now.
Right.
But like I saw a reel that said, so many people are doing it, but nobody's doing it like you.
Bingo.
So whatever you do, I don't care if it's 1,000 people out there that's doing it, they're not doing it like you. So do what you do and capitalize upon the gift that because God put a gift in each and every one of us. And it's up to us to capitalize off of the gift that like I said, who does not want to make money and get monetized off of a natural gift that
you have? Exactly.
Who wouldn't want to do that?
Right.
And I feel like in this generation, our generation, the millennials and Generation Z, Z, right? Generation Z. I believe that our two generations are very gifted, and because one thing about it, the baby boomers, they had the gift of being able to work hard with their hands.
Yes.
Labor,
trades,
and trades, and different things like that. Our generation, Generation Z and Generation X, we have the knowledge and know-how and technology on our side.
We know how to work smarter,
not harder.
Exactly.
So with that being said, it's all about taking whatever gift God has given you and hewing it in on it, and just being consistent with that gift, and then not caring what the vast majority, whether because people gonna support you, people may not support you, but as long as you stay consistent with the gift that God gave you, if God gave you a gift, then He gave you the means to profit off your gift.
Bingo. He didn't just give you a gift
He didn't
for
just
it
give
to
you
be
a
wasted.
gift just to be wasted on nothing. He gave you that gift because He wanted you to prosper off of
Right.
what He gave you.
Right.
So if He gave you that gift, stay consistent.
Big
with
thing
that.
about that is also finding out what your gift is.
Finding out what your gift is.
You have to take the time to really let a man examine himself. Exactly. You have to examine yourself.
Exactly.
And see where and sometimes your gifting may not be something that you think it is.
Right.
You have to really examine to see what my gift is, and then really you have to, take the time to figure out, fasting, praying, whatever it is it may be for you.
Right.
How can I use this gift to make my life better?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
And so a lot of times life can teach, like you said, fasting and praying. That's the number one thing that you have to do to really hone in on what it is that your gift is. But also, the older you get, life will teach you what your gift is. Life will teach the different experiences that you go through, the different things, how you handle certain things. That alone will teach you what your gift is and how you conduct yourself in situations. So some people have the gift of patience. I mean, we all should have patience. Yeah. That's one of the fruits of the Spirit.
Yeah, you're right.
But
no, you can't gloss over that, because having a gift of patience is really, most people can have patience, but it takes a special level of patience if you have to deal with some of the extremes of life.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And even all the other fruits of the Spirit, I do believe that those can be a gift to have extreme amounts of, to where you can kind of incorporate that into any situation in life that will help you succeed. And it doesn't have to just be narrowed down to, okay, this gift, those gifts can help. I believe can help you access more gifts.
Exactly. It's like a level in a game.
It's a level, exactly. It's like a level. Once you unlock that level, you have a
bigger variety.
More of a variety. Exactly.
Yep.
That's cool. I like that.
Yep.
Mel, what do you think?
I agree.
Moving on. Like Kevin Bond. Moving on.
I want to say too, AJ, that just to put this out there, your camera isn't zooming well.
It's not zooming well
on yours.
What do you mean? Is it like?
I mean, it's like glitching. Just so you know.
Oh, okay. It tends to do
there,
that.
just so you guys see that. That's what's going on there.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Let's talk about some temptations that we as young people face in living in 2022, where social media and life on social media, we're going to actually get to that in the next topic, is at an all-time high. You have drugs rampant in the land.
Right.
You have women and men rampant in the land.
Right.
I mean, everything is more accessible and more in your face than it ever has been before.
Right.
Like you can almost sit down. These nice computers that we have, our phones, almost everyone has them. You can access any and everything that you want.
Yeah.
Anything that you can think of, you can access it right here.
Yeah.
You no longer have to go to a library.
Right.
You no longer have to go, up to Richmond or DC to the National Book of Libraries. You no longer have to go to these places.
Google it.
You can literally just Google it.
Right.
Not even Googling it. You can literally now, hey Siri.
Yep.
Ask Siri and she'll pull it up. You don't even have to Google no more.
Yep.
So it's almost going to get to a point where all you have to do now is think it.
Right.
And it'll pop up.
Right.
What do y'all think are some big temptations that we face?
One of the two, Emil, did you have something to say?
You can go ahead.
One of the main two that I would say that we face as adults in this generation, number one is lust. Biggest one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to talk on that a little bit more. But the second one is the maturity of maintaining a budget. A healthy budget.
Yikes! That is the biggest.
To me, those are the two things that we really face. It's really hard for a lot of our generation to
manage those two
things: lust and how to have maturity in managing.
Let's talk about lust.
Budget.
Let's talk about lust because that's a thing that affects probably everyone.
Right.
More, I think men are the most obvious to see and the most oblivious for us to kind of recognize that we're doing it.
Right.
But women also do it.
Yeah, they do it too.
And that's the thing. It's harder to recognize when a woman does it, and it's almost a little bit scarier because you can't tell, when women, are lusting after something or what do you think the effects you don't read the Bible, what it affects our love of lust?
I feel like it's because everybody is overexposing themselves. Nothing is a secret anymore. Nothing is no longer sacred. Nothing is, and when I say sacred, I'm not talking about biblical sacredness. I'm saying as far as nothing is no longer private. Nothing is no longer.
There's a reason why, and not to cut you, there's a reason why our parents used to call them private parts.
Private parts.
There's a reason why.
And
it's supposed to be private.
Nothing is. There's no longer a limit no more. Just like I was watching a video of a guy, and some of his videos are funny, but I'm just using this as an example. I'm not knocking what he do. He's creating content of his audience,
fellow content creator.
Yeah, fellow content creator. He's creating content for his audience and go forth. But he goes up to random girls and he'd be like, "Rate my outfit, blah blah blah," and then he'd be like, turn around for the camera.
I'm seeing.
She'll turn around and she'd be shaped real curvy or whatever, and he'd be like, "Ooh, can I grab that?" And some of the girls be like, "Yeah," and he'll random girls he'll grab her buttocks. I mean, sometimes he'll grab a handful. But I'm using an example of nothing is no longer off limits. There's no longer a barrier between, okay, you're going too far on seeing that, or you're going too far in doing it. Everything is just like, here I am,
out in the open.
There I am.
And then these things get posted to social media for entertainment, and then millions of people around the world see it and want to partake. They want to partake in the endeavors of people like that.
And don't get me wrong, this stuff has been going. It's not just in our generation. This stuff has been going on in the 70s. It's that we have the phones and the technology.
Oh, yeah, it's at your fingertips now.
Exactly.
And we're
I remember.
I
remember. It's hilarious. I remember seeing a video, and I was wondering, do we know anybody from it? I remember seeing a video. The video was back from 1991. I want to say so. It was a year before I was born, and it was at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. And it was probably during one of the what do you call it, like the college
beach week or something.
Week or something like that, where all the college students come down. Aaron, it was a camcorder video. Mind you, the video quality isn't all that great. Thousands, the whole Virginia Beach oceanfront, thousands of people down, like our black people, our color, all colors down there, and they were doing some of the most,
I believe it,
heinous,
I believe it,
of things on that camera. I'm talking about random people doing. You think it was bad now? No, it's just the same thing. It's just that today people can easily do it. Everybody can easily do it from home or from wherever they are, and they can post it. and share it with the world.
Right.
It's easily viewed now.
Yes, it's easily viewed.
And like I said, nothing is no longer private. There's certain, like, even with males and females, like just like now I see like different content creators, they'll like do like prank videos where they'll have their man part printed out, and they'll walk up to a female
And it's
start
not
talking.
even
They'll
like
put a cucumber or something.
cucumber
Yeah,
prank.
it'll like it's a cucumber prank.
Yes.
And like they're having it in their pants or whatever, and like, walk up to a female, and the female would just be like overly.
Like, sometimes I be thinking that stuff. Like, I'm gonna keep it 100. Sometimes I be thinking it's fake.
Planned and
like
fake.
it's planned and
Staged.
fake.
Yeah.
But it's like, why?
But why? Why does it have to go? And I know that's what y'all like to see. Okay, whatever. But that's why lust is so much of a problem.
That's why
nothing is no longer a secret. Everything's just there.
Everybody's looking
Everybody
to see
is just
something
there,
like sexual immorality.
Yeah,
is
it's just there
at an all-time high.
And I think too, what kind of sucks too to see is all of that in the Christian world as well. You know, this isn't trying to get into a judgmental zone.
No, not judging
But,
nobody.
I mean, it's probably our generation a lot more than it was our parents' generation, where we deem it as okay and we champion it and we defend it too, and we'll say we can still do that stuff, and we can look and it's you know, we look more and more like the world.
I'll take it a step
and
further.
again, I'm not the type to judge it. It's just what I see, and it's just like, yeah, but you know, there has to be something that separates us from that. But
I'll take it a step further, and I hope I say it right, because I had it and then I lost it when you kept talking. But I'll take it a step further. It's almost even more so dangerous when people of faith do it, because we know what's right.
Help me.
I'm know.
Not saying that, I'm just saying it because
we know what's. We know.
True.
We literally we live a life where we know what's right.
Yeah.
And what to do, but then you do these things publicly. I can understand if you're doing them privately. I understand that, but you're doing these things. Not saying I agree with it.
Yeah.
But I understand. You know. Okay. You're taking the basic. You know, trying to hide and do it. But you're doing this stuff publicly.
And don't care.
But then you're in front of people trying to minister as well.
That's what I don't agree with.
Dangerous.
When it comes to the church world, if you know you're in your mess and you know you're doing junk, sit down until you get yourself together.
It's to the point now where they don't care.
They just don't care.
They'll display it on social media, be at any and everybody's club doing any and everything, and then you'll see them on a live stream for a church trying to lay hands on people. It's crazy.
Listen, and I haven't really got into all that stuff, but there were times, even with myself, if I felt like I ain't prayed like I should have prayed, I done this before.
All right, sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone.
Right.
But continue what you were saying.
What I was saying was, I've seen times where if I felt like I wasn't praying like I should, if I felt like I wasn't fasting the way I should, I had a preaching engagement. I would call, not to give myself any self-glory, because any boasting I do is in the Lord. But I found myself, if I know, like, I didn't have that level of prayer life that I had before I get up and minister, I called the pastor and told him, listen, this week, no, I don't let everybody know my business and stuff. And it wasn't nothing that serious, but I called him. I said, this way I won't be able to make it. Some things that came up, and I won't be able to preach this Sunday. Hopefully we can schedule another engagement. But I'm saying that to say, not to give myself any praise, but
right.
If you know,
you can take it there.
You can play with your mama. You can play with your daddy. You can play with your cat, your dog, and your rabbit.
You can play with your husband or your wife.
But don't play with God.
You cannot play with God.
Don't play with God. That's one person I don't want to play with. I know we all made mistakes, and we all done some things. Some things we've done accidentally, and some things we did, and we knew exactly what we were doing.
And then thought that, I'll just say
Lord,
exactly.
We've all been there.
We've been there.
We've been there.
Been there, done that.
Been there. But one thing about it, don't ever call yourself getting to a place where you start playing with it and playing with him and think you're tricking the system.
The Bible says, shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? God forbid.
He forbids. And that's not a hateful speech. Because let me tell you something. Even when we do fall, even when we do sin, God is still there. And that's why he sent his son into the world to redeem mankind.
Right.
He sent he sent his son because he knew that we were going to fall. He knew that we were going to make mistakes. He knew that a lot of us will have addiction. Some of us will be addicted to whatever the various addictions are out there. That's why he sent his son into the world. So he did not come into the world to condemn the world, but he came to the world because he knew that we was going to have these problems, and he wanted to give a solution because the things that they were doing back in the day never sufficed for the actual
sin,
the actual sin and the actual atonement that needed to take place. The only thing that can do it was his son. That's why he did it. So when we talk like this, we're not condemning nobody that's in a place of addiction. That's in a place
we all have sin.
Yeah, we all have sin. Some of us are still sinning.
Right.
But at the end of the day, that's why nobody's condemning or judging anybody. That's why God sent his son into the world so that we don't have an excuse any longer, and we can rightfully come and be redeemed to him, and we don't have to stay in that low place of the addiction that whatever's holding us hostage. We no longer have to stay in hostage. He sent his son so that we can be free to live a life of bountifulness and freedom, and serve him in the best way that we know how, with the gift that he has given us. So.
Right. You know what I think is another temptation that we as young people face, and it kind of ties in what we were saying earlier, being able to make money doing anything.
Yeah.
Just about anything. I think that is a huge temptation, because let me tell you, I'm glad I wasn't born as a woman. I'm glad I'm born as a man, because I get that, women, they've come through their struggle and all that. But the ways women are making money today, and I'm talking about racks on racks on stacks on racks.
For real though.
Is uncanny. We've never seen anything like it. And I think that leads to temptations on both sides.
Yeah.
It leads to more women wanting to do the same thing. That's the temptation of money, to get that money, especially if they're, independent, whatever, that may be. It leads to them wanting to do that. But then men, all day long, you're flaunting stuff that we're biologically designed to want to look at and desire.
Right.
And you're flaunting it, and it's like most men are just saying, here, take my money.
And see, with that being said, that leads into what I said about the 2 points of not being able to maintain a mature budget.
Yep.
Because if you have to really be under a real addiction to sex and to whatever else, if you would spend your hard-earned money on something that someone that you eventually, and some of y'all that y'all doing it for free and y'all don't even love these people, but something that you can technically, I don't agree with it, but something that you can
get for free,
you'll pay for it. That's
sheesh.
I don't want to ever be under a spirit so strong that it's making me spend my money on it.
I cannot do it. That's why I'm not saying that I'm holier than thou.
Right.
I could never do strip clubs.
No.
Morally it's wrong. I believe it's it goes against my morals.
Right.
But and I'm not a cheapskate. Don't get me wrong. I can't see giving money that I earn,
$500 of my dollars.
I can't money that I earn. I worked hard and sweated on.
Nah, bro.
To you, and you not even doing anything for me. You're not like in a situation like where it's a wife or a girlfriend or something like. Who you think I am?
Nah, bro.
And the thing is, I'm not rich by any means. Even if I had money like that, I can't see myself blow. And I know anything can happen, but still, the way I am, I can't see myself blowing money on stuff like that. No. If it floats your boat, it floats your boat. But for me, no. That's one reason why I just can't see it. Spending money, hard-earned money. You know how hard it is for money to come by money.
Like I said, unless it's something that's adding to memory making, that's not memory making. That's just foolishness.
But you something that's fleeting.
Right. One thing about it, a great philosopher from The Office called Joe said it best. Are you allowing your money to make money? You have to allow your money.
Your money has to make
money.
Exactly.
And if you throwing your money into something that's not making you money,
it's making someone else money. How does that sound? You're providing money to other people and taking money away from your pocket, your household, and you're not making money with your money. When you could take that same money,
take them same
and
dollars,
make more money.
Make more money.
And no, we're not talking about alchemy.
right. Exactly.
Come
Right. Only you Office fans out there would
Right,
get that
right.
joke. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, it's just those things, lust and having to operate and manage a mature budget. Those are the two
Those
things
are
this generation
good.
has a problem with.
And doing things for, it could be called the lust of money,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
doing
Those
things
two
for that.
things that is really hard for this generation to really grasp and to kind of get control of.
Right. All right, let's talk about this because I think we hit on a lot of good topics. Let's talk about being a young adult now with bills, responsibilities, and duties. Because we can all think back and remember a time where let's think back. The year was 1999, and we were in school.
I was just born.
You were just born. All right, let's go to 2005.
Okay.
Mel, I think she was still in school. She wasn't in college or adult back
high
then.
school, thank you.
Okay, she was in high school. We were all in school in 2005.
Yep.
Think back to a time where you can literally look and smell the grass as you woke up in the morning.
The most
Getting
disgusting.
ready.
I like Ryan from The Office. It's something about the morning smells that makes me sick. I'm serious.
Are you serious?
I hate-
I think it makes you sick because you have bad
Had to go to
memories.
school.
But the thing is, some of those times, I hated waking up that early. I'm not a morning person, but even going to school, looking back on it is something precious that you don't necessarily appreciate when you're in it, about being able to wake up
Right.
and just worry about school. You don't have to worry about anything adult. You don't have to worry about the adulting
Right.
of being an adult.
That's the only thing. You couldn't pay me to go back to school days as being a kid, but it's a different thing when you realize your life is going to go, and you're responsible for everything that happens in your life from the moment you reach adulthood.
When you reach adulthood, it's on you.
It's on you.
And you know what? You know what's kind of sad? I don't think, I ain't gonna say I don't think. I know school does not prepare you for the onslaught of adulthood that's coming once you hit 18.
They don't teach you about taxes. They don't teach you about
all of the stuff.
Your credit score.
Let me ask y'all.
Life, really.
When was the last time you used the Pythagorean theorem?
I say this all the time.
When was the last time?
When the devil I'm had to use an isosceles triangle? When? Tell me. Let me know when and I'll shut my mouth. When I'm gonna use a parallelogram. Come on now. The church got quiet.
Right.
When am I gonna have to use the box and whisker plot?
There's so many.
What
The
is
what?
that?
The box and whisker
what?
plot. The box and whisker. Matter of fact, let me Google it. So y'all know. Let me Google it so I know. So I tell y'all.
We're gonna find out what it, because
That
that might have
sound
been
right.
past my generation. I don't know what that
That's
is.
Is that math?
That's that new
math.
right. That new math,
I don't know
right?
about that.
Box and whisker plot was a math thing that they used to do.
I know nothing about that. Wow.
Can you show a picture of it?
Yeah, you can.
Like
Yeah, put a
could-
picture in there. Yeah,
This doesn't sound
I know
good.
nothing of that. Wow.
Yes, it was like a graph. It was like
So
dealing with graphing.
what does that even do?
Box and whisker plot was basically a graphing system that they taught you. It was a different way of graph because you got the bar graph, you got the line graph, and then you got a box and whisker plot. And a box and whisker plot was like a different type of graphing
What
system.
was it for? What?
I don't know. I don't even remember anymore. I just remember the box and whisker plot, and I've never used one to this day. So
But going
it was
back,
just a box,
yeah.
and it had two lines
going
and they
out.
were like whiskers. It was the box and whisker plot.
I ain't never seen this foolishness.
I've never seen it before in my life
They
either.
taught us that in school.
What
I
are
I've
you?
never.
Oh, no.
What does it help you solve?
don't know how to
What bills?
graph stuff on
What
rings.
bills does it help you take care of?
Nothing.
Yeah, that's the
But that's what I'm saying. There's so, and I'll get to my theory on all this. There's so many things that you could learn in school that will
Right.
help you in your adult life.
Right.
They can help you, like Mel said, with taxes. Because
That's the main
let's
thing that's
face
gonna
it,
smack the crap
as
out.
soon as you get a job, that's the main thing that you're looking at your check expecting one thing, and you see all the stuff coming out.
Hold
You're
on,
like,
who the devil-
wait a minute, who's stealing from me? They don't teach you about that.
Right.
Why? And I'll get to my theory. There's things where you can like learn how to be an entrepreneur, how to invest,
Right.
how to create your own business, accounting, all of this stuff, being a business owner, having employees, being an employee,
Right.
how to properly set up your life like at the end of tax season to where you can get the most back. There's so many things that you can learn in school outside of what they're teaching you.
Right.
But I think, and I could be wrong, but this is just my theory. I think what's being taught in school is being taught in schools because most of the United States is a working class. Most of the the United States, or I don't know how the other side of the world.
People in corporate America.
They want to keep people
Yeah.
in that working class.
Corporate America.
Think about
working,
it.
Yep.
Think about how how school operates. You're waking up early in the morning. You're going to school
Like a
for
job.
9 hours.
Like a job.
You're coming home with homework, all to wake up and do it again the next day.
Yep. And you
It's
get weekends
just
off.
like a job.
It's like a
So
regular
you're
9 to
already
5.
being conditioned as a young child to have that mindset of being in a working class, working for someone,
Right.
providing your livelihood to these big corporations. Right. They're not teaching you how to become a big corporation or how to manage different things. They're teaching you the bare minimum. This is, like I said, this is just my theory. They're teaching you the bare minimum of how to survive in a working class and how to make it the normal for you, how to already be used to it.
And that's why it's so important because the school system might teach you one thing, but that's why it's so important to have parents that actually teach. I thank God for Adam Lavelle Thurgood Sr. because we've seen him go from working on a trash truck to working for himself,
having a business,
owning his own
multiple
employees that he was responsible for, and he let us know you don't have to work for the man. You know, you can get out here, launch out, and start your own business. And from that, we've seen that it is possible. And now the possibilities are endless. Like content creating. There's so many things that you can do. It's all about being consistent and as I said, operating off of the gift that God gave you. But like I said, that's why I thank God for Dad, because he showed us that you don't have to work for anybody else. You know, and if you're just starting out, like, okay, yeah, it's good to get that work experience, but you don't have to spend your whole life working for somebody else. And the opportunities that they have out here nowadays, you don't have. It's just about doing your research and getting into whatever it is that interests you. Wherein you don't have to get out here and work at. Now some people got to do what they got to do because they got kids,
they got to
they have responsibilities.
That's what I'm saying. Life hits you, and you have to do what you have to do.
You can still make something out of nothing. You can still make something out of the worst situations. You know, you can still do it. It's all about where your mind is and where you are mentally to kind of propel you to that place of destiny. You know, and prepare you to that place of financial greatness.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Right.
But that's the main thing. So, like I said, the way I feel, you know why I'm doing it? The job that I'm doing now, I'm doing it for something to get under my belt because it looks good on resumes and things like that.
Right.
However, my plans are not to stay here. My plans are to
always to strive
to go further and capitalize upon what the gifts that God has given us and to be effective to others. You know, because even with my job, being a law enforcement officer, you can still touch lives with that because we come in contact with so many people of different nationalities. But also, that's not where my main focus is. Also, yes, as far as ministry and all that stuff, and sometimes people can become boxed in with thinking that their gifts are can only be utilized in the four walls of the church. Whether if it's cooking, whether if it's sewing, whether if it's they only think that their gifts are only relevant if it's in the four walls of the church when that's not true.
Right.
If we as Christians could come out the church and I'm not saying stop going to church, but if we can take our gifts
your
and
focus
really go
on
into
being great in the church and take it
outside and really spread what we congregate ourselves in the church. If we really spread that out into the world, so many more lives will be drawn into the kingdom because they'll see, here are these people, they're good, genuine people, but also they have gifts and they have talents and they still have the common touch of, knowing how to operate and knowing how to, conduct themselves in a corporate world. So that's just how I feel.
And it's good that you mentioned that because this takes me to the next question I want to ask. This is for both of y'all, actually. Do y'all think that traditional roles of a man and woman are fading from our generation? As far as how our parents grew up, the man would go to work, get everything done, be the protective provider for the household. The woman would be the nurturer, taking care of the kids, making sure the household runs and is effectively that glue that keeps the household together. You think that's fading?
What you say, Mel?
Definitely. I think that for one, you don't have a lot of two-parent households, so that's from the baby boomer area.
Oh, that's a lot of that's a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you have a lot of one-parent households. A lot of times you have a lot of single mothers, so they have to work. And then we were. I don't know if that was the episode that we didn't air, but we were talking about how a lot of women went to college.
Right.
And a lot of women have jobs now that they didn't have back in the boomer area or era or before, whatever my grandparents' era was. And so, the idea of a man having to take care of everything, no. Even if it is a two-parent household, a lot of times the woman's working too.
Yeah.
So, the man doesn't have to take care of all the bills. And that's their agreement,
Right. Now, let me ask y'all this. Because we see that it's definitely a change. Do you think it's making life for a man and a woman worse?
Well, to go back and answer your first question, and I can answer your second. For me, your first question, I think it's changing, but
or
also
fading.
Fading rather. But also, I feel like when you have a husband and a wife, like for instance, what's her name, Mel? The girl and the husband and
Sarah,
yes,
like
those two.
Sarah and Desmond.
Sarah and Desmond.
Yeah, Sarah and Desmond. Yeah, those two. I love them. The reels that they're making all. But with them, they took their personal gifts and they took what they do and they capitalized off that together and they worked together.
Well, they're still working together,
right?
But I'm saying more towards not just working, but actually their roles, like
right. But that's what I'm saying.
And I know this is kind of like a touchy subject when you start talking about gender roles, because now it's almost like I keep seeing different people talking about it. It's almost like this, whoever it is, I don't know what faction of the Western world is trying to push this on us, but it's almost like they're trying to make people more like they're almost trying to get rid of genders in gender functions between men and women. They're trying to make everyone this weird blob or this weird, like everyone's the same.
No,
everyone can do what everyone can.
No.
Because I tell you one thing, I will never, ever be able to produce a baby.
No.
So I don't know how you're going to make that possible, but I would, in my lifetime, I would never be able to do that. But that's what it feels like they're trying to do, and to me it just feels like it's kind of stripping away of some of the more fundamental actions that a man and a woman should do, just simply based on biology. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And I'll say it like this. I feel like in this world, I feel like, and they're going back to what I was saying about what's the name, Sarah and going back to those two. I was bringing them up because I believe those two, because she's still, from her videos, I don't know what they do in their personal life, but from the content that they produce, and they seem like they're very relevant. They seem like they're very open.
Right.
With we don't know all of theirs.
Yeah,
they seem like they're very open.
Typically,
open with what they put out to the crowd, to their audiences, and it seems like they've grasped the concept of a 21st century relationship, but they still have the core values of the roles of a man and a wife. They still, it seems like to me that they know how to balance those things. They know how to balance it. She knows her place as the woman, and he knows his place as the man. But they still come together and have equal roles in, whether if it's breadwinning or they still know the balance of.
That's where
what's interesting is that she don't even cook, and he's the one that cooks.
He's the one that cooks.
They have two boys, but you might see her
Bingo.
be a little hands-on with the
cleaning, exactly.
Other stuff.
You see that's a good example. You see how
they're balancing each other.
If one person does something, the other one will kind of reinforce or make sure it's completely done.
Right.
And if one person doesn't do something, the other one does it, and it's reinforced that way. You see how it's almost like it's all fitting and connecting. No one's competing. Everything's where I lack, my partner compliments me. Where she lacks or he lacks, you will compliment that.
Right.
And it's not a competition, but I think how can I say this without hurting anyone's feelings? In today's game for men or women, whatever, most are being taught that you have to be able to do what your other person, what your partner. Right. So let's say if you have a woman, let's say most women are being taught they have to do what the man should be able to do in a relationship in order for that relationship to work. And it's almost like a competition thing as opposed to being connected and you filling in the gaps where, I lack and then I fill in the gaps where you lack.
Right.
So what do y'all think about that?
I think that is a thing that does happen. Like, some girls are taught that, you should be able to be a breadwinner for your whatever, it doesn't really matter what your husband does. But I think that can come out of, that could be a circumstance, or maybe that was a single mom who didn't have the help. And says, well, I just don't want you to, or from a mom who was maybe a stay-at-home mom and the husband took care of everything, but maybe he might have cheated or something like that.
It's still
so it's like I'm going to instill in you that you can do whatever you need to do for yourself.
Right, but do y'all think? Still, and that's getting back to what I initially asked with gender roles and traditional roles of men and women fading from our gender. Do y'all think that's hurting our generation?
I'll say this. I truly believe. I don't believe in. Well, I'll say it like this. I don't believe in gender roles. I do believe in placement. And when it comes to placement, I believe that the man is the head of the household and the woman falls under the man, not in a condescending way. However, when it comes to roles of a man and a woman and whether a man should cook, whether the woman should cook, I believe that, as I stated before, I believe that both should contribute in some type of way. Now, the man might just like to cook, like Sarah.
Right.
And he may be good at it.
Like
she's
us.
not good at it.
We're both cooks.
Exactly.
We like to cook.
We like to cook.
Exactly.
So, but there might be some days we don't feel like cooking, but she can step in those days. So I feel like there should be a balance of it. I feel like the problem comes in when there's toxicness in that role playing, when one party feels as if,
no, this is something you should only do.
There you go. When you allow that toxicity to come in and I'm not supposed to do that. You're supposed to do that. I'm right. You're supposed to wash my drawers.
That's where toxic traits come in. And really, and I hate to say it, really it kind of stems from traditionalism.
Right.
That's where some of that stuff, because and I think people of this time who think that stuff was right, they probably don't realize that, no, people back then didn't necessarily have that attitude like, I do this, you do that. No, they did what naturally worked, because it biologically, you look at it, a man is hardwired to be the go-getter, to go out and do things like that. The woman is hardwired to be at home, be that nurturer, take care of whatever needs of the family. So it just made sense for them. It was nothing like they're saying, I should do this. And I'm sure they had time. I'm sure there were male cooks back then. I'm sure there were men who would like to get in the kitchen and cook. It may not have been as much as it is today, but I'm sure, each relationship had that thing where, honey, don't worry, I'll, throw some things on the grill. I'll fire up the grill and we'll eat or whatever. I'm saying that to say, I think in today's time, people who believe in that traditionalism and push that to the extreme are really pushing it to the extreme past even what they were doing back in those times.
Right. And also, I feel like we got to realize that back in those times, jobs for women weren't as popular as they were now.
Yes.
So the women didn't necessarily have an option to go out here and get a job that could really sustain a family and contribute to a family. It was the men that was the public workers, and the trash truck drivers.
Right.
The black men were doing that. They
were
doing those things.
Right.
So back then it wasn't necessarily a thing we're in, well, I'm gonna go out to work, you stay home with the kids.
Exactly.
No, it was a thing we're in.
I have to go out to work.
I have to go out to work.
Yeah, you're going to, there's no other, there's really.
During that civil rights movement and stuff, like, okay, a woman will get a job as like a secretary or something very small that literally paid little to nothing. I mean, pretty much everybody got paid little to nothing.
Disparities in the workplace, yes.
But typically speaking, the man had a more flexible work that he had a more.
He can make money from.
That he can make money from to provide for the family. Yeah. And he was the one that would go out and prepare. And a lot. During those times, that's what they call it, the baby boom generation. That was the time when they were having kids like Grandma Lena's baby boomer generation.
Exactly.
She got 16 siblings. Well, 15
Bingo.
siblings.
She's
the second of 16.
Exactly.
So back then, they were having children galore.
They were screwing and brewing.
And I'm serious. So the wife had no. I mean, back then, let's think about it. You having 16 children. She going off to work and he going off to work. Who going to take care of the kids?
They going to be in the house by themselves lighting fires?
Exactly. So there was a certain level of responsibility that had to be met back then. It wasn't necessarily a necessity of a role. It was a responsibility of a task that needed to be done.
And I honestly think that they were back then more open to meeting those responsibilities.
Right.
They knew, okay, this has to be done. I know that I'm the best suited. Not saying, somebody else can do it. I'm the best suited to take care of this. So let me do that. They fit in those roles, or I hate calling them roles because that can be kind of considered like, you know what I'm saying? People can kind of see that as toxic, but they fit in those sections perfect. They knew that, they were best suited for the job, so they would do it.
Right.
They were working more efficiently, smarter. Right. But it's only in today's time where it's like, okay, we don't necessarily have to do those roles. We can kind of shift it, and I hate saying even be kind of unnatural. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People performing tasks that they don't normally naturally do.
Right.
And then you'll have the sides that will push, will say, you should do the opposite anyway, because you have to be able to take care for yourself, or you have to be able to do this, blah, blah, blah for yourself. And then it kind of creates that tension when you're trying to get into a relationship, which most people are looking for. They're looking for the relationship. It creates that tension between the two, because it's like, okay, what do we do? How do we, do this? We're not doing what naturally, we do best. So what, and then you have that friction where they're bumping heads, and, then you have the problems.
Right. And I'll say this, and I'm going to end on what I got to say concerning everything. I applaud Tabitha Brown for what she did with her husband. Her husband was, I believe, LAPD or NYPD. Where they LAPD?
LAPD.
He was a LAPD.
Okay.
He was a police officer, and she just recently, either last year or the year before, she retired him. She started making enough money where she retired him to where he no longer had to go to work. And most men, I mean, and the way it taught, it was hard for him to do because your women retire you. But at the end of the day, it's a simple thing wherein not necessarily being relegated to a role, and not being relegated to a role, but being smart in placement and knowing how to come together to get the job done.
Right.
And if you can do that, then your relationship, and that's just like it all goes back to our relationship video. Finding somebody that's compatible for you, because if y'all can both, it's not about the role, but if y'all can both. If there's a loose end, if y'all can both come together, and if you can't do it one day, I'll be the strong arm one day. Or if she can't be the strong arm one day, I'm the strong arm.
Right.
Because we all have that weak moment. But if we can shift the weight every now and then everything will be all right.
Everything will be all right.
I think that's marriage anyway.
Right.
That's,
right.
That's
how marriage should work.
Yeah.
And let's set this straight. Every marriage is different.
Oh, yeah.
There's no right or wrong way to do marriage. It's literally between you, your partner, and God.
Yep.
So as long as you have those three, because marriage, let's face it, is a God ordained contract.
Absolutely.
It's only when people try to take out God in marriage that marriage fails,
right?
Or it doesn't work.
Right.
When you have God, you and your partner, and all three of y'all are together in it. It works. You see what I'm saying? So, and every marriage is different. So, as long as y'all find out what works for you all and what can work to last forever, because marriage is supposed to last forever.
Right.
I'll say it again. Marriage is supposed to last forever.
To death do you part.
To death do you part.
Yep.
Exactly. As long as y'all can find what works for y'all, that will keep you forever.
Right. And that's not to bash anybody that has gotten a divorce.
No,
that's not to bash anybody.
Not at all.
That sort.
Not at all.
But
because even in the Bible, there are things where if it happens in your marriage, am I wrong, Mel?
Yeah,
if it happens in your marriage, where you can legally, exactly.
Yeah, it is
physical abuse.
Yeah,
right. So yeah.
But this where, and I'm not married, so I'm not even gonna get on it. But
just touch on it and back off.
Touch on it and run off. But I will say, just because you have an argument and y'all can't see eye to eye on a thing.
Oh, that's even in relationships. Yeah.
Divorce. I suggest marriage counseling.
Yeah.
Because As
Ooh,
Bishop Ellis said at y'all wedding, the same wind that blew those gray clouds in will be the same wind that blow those gray clouds out. And it's always easy. Like I said, I'm not married, so I don't know all the facts and all the stuff. But if the marriage was God ordained, there are going to be some rough times in there. But if the marriage was God ordained, He'll be the same God to bring y'all through. So.
Right. Ooh, that's some good topics.
That's
a whole because we mentioned marriage. Marriage is a whole complete. And to hit on my boy Kev on stage, we follow him. He's another content creator that we love. Yeah. Marriage be hard.
Marriage be hard.
Marriage be hard. And I think he has a book, so y'all go check that out if you see it. He has a book out. Marriage be hard. Check that out. But marriage is a whole other topic that we're gonna hopefully discuss in the future. You even talked about counseling. Right. A lot of people, especially of our color, do not believe in counseling.
A lot of older
a lot of older people.
Right.
They don't
therapy, anything like
counseling or therapy. It's so needed in especially today's times that I don't think it's really underestimated. We don't really grasp how much counseling or therapy is needed. Right. That's a whole nother topic, that we have to talk about. Right. But I think that's going to wrap up today's.
Absolutely.
That's going to wrap up today's. Like we said at the beginning, may our queen rest in peace.
May our queen rest in peace.
She's your queen.
Yeah, rest in peace.
May she rest in peace. This was a good episode, I think.
Absolutely.
For you all, please like and share and subscribe to the channel. You can listen to this podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcast from. Be sure, like I said, to like and comment. Leave a comment in the comment section. Let us know if you enjoyed this content, what you want to talk about, what you feel about what we talked about. Just let us know.
Add to that discussion, too.
Yes, add to the discussion. These discussions are needed. We need to hear. It's free to comment.